Now, how does a president emerge? And what are the conditions that will necessitate a second election? Because the Constitution calls it a second election. The Constitution doesn't call it a runoff. Section 134, subsection 2 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, which is the fundamental law of the land, makes it mandatory that before anyone can be deemed to have been elected as the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, that candidate must secure the highest number of votes cast at the election. The candidate must secure the highest number of votes cast at the election and must also secure a quarter of the votes cast in 2/3 of all the states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory. That is mandatory. Now, if no candidate secures this highest number of votes and the mandatory threshold, the Constitution says that we must have a second election within a period of 21 days. Now, not all candidates are going to participate in this second election. 18 candidates will be on the ballot for the first election. If no candidate emerges on the first ballot, only 2 candidates are going to be on the second ballot, or only 2 candidates are going to contest the second election. Now, who are those candidates that will be on the ballot for the second election? The Constitution has made it very clear that 2 candidates that will be on the ballot are: one amongst the candidates who scored the highest number of votes at the election. The one that scored the highest number of votes at the election. The second candidate that will be on the ballot will be one amongst the remaining candidates who has a majority of the votes in the highest number of states. One amongst them. The Constitution did not say that the person who came second will be the person who will be on the ballot. That's not what the Constitution has said. The Constitution says that one amongst the remaining candidates who has a majority of votes in the highest number of states, will be the second candidate. So you may have a situation where one candidate in the election secures 10 million votes, and the second candidate secures 9 million votes, and the third candidate secures 7 million votes. But that third candidate secured majority of votes in the highest number of states. The Constitution says that is that third candidate that will be on the ballot with the first person.
Welcome to my channel, where we discuss everything and all things politics, especially about the 2023 presidential election held in Nigeria on February 25, 2023, and the result announced on March 1st, 2023, in which President Bola Tinubu, the presidential candidate of the All Progressive Congress, was in a controversial circumstance declared the winner of the election, and the election is being challenged in the courts at the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal, from where it will eventually get to the Supreme Court, invariably. And there are issues in the video that is going to form the basis of what we're going to discuss now. But first of all, let us look at what has thrown up this matter once again. The Labour Party replied Tinubu after he begged the Presidential Election Tribunal to disqualify Peter Obi from any possible rerun. And so this has made the Presidential Campaign Council, the Labour Party Presidential Campaign Council, to react to that petition submitted by President Bola Tinubu requesting the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal to disqualify Peter Obi from any possible rerun election. And recall that in a petition submitted by the council to Tinubu, the president claimed that only he and Atiku Abubakar of the People's Democratic Party should contest in case of a possible rerun. He therefore begged the court to disqualify Peter Obi. And if you had followed this, it was in the final written statement of Tinubu that he made that request. Now, reacting to this development in a statement released by the head of media, Obi Dati Campaign Council, Rerun Onifade, the Labour Party, in the statement by Onifade, described Tinubu's petition as a devilish and desperate move to stop Obi from reclaiming his mandate. According to Onifade, the mission is aimed at confusing the public and distracting them from real matters on the ground regarding the 2023 general election. I think that is one of the areas that made me to do this video once again, to stop people being confused and distracted. That's the reason why I'm making this video. According to the statement by Onifade, through the Obi Dati Media Office, said that Obi Dati Media Office has noted how a worried All Progressive Congress and its presidential candidate, Bola Tinubu, are even wishing and pleading with the Presidential Election Petition Court to consider pairing them with Atiku Abubakar of the People's Democratic Party instead of Obi. Obi Dati Media Office recalled that recently the same rogue agents had claimed that Peter Obi granted an interview on Arise Television saying he is willing to take defeat and wait for elections 2027. Now, these are excerpts from the statement of Labour Party in respect of Tinubu's call for Peter Obi not to be part of a rerun. Now, who is qualified to participate in a rerun is the reason why I played that video for you, so that you can educate others that the person that came second in the INEC allocated votes does not necessarily mean that that is the person that will participate in a rerun. You can see how he used the Constitution, how INEC spokesperson Festus Okoye, before the election, stipulate what the Constitution said in section 134. What the Constitution said, it was very clear as ABC. You say that section, if you look at subsection 3 of that section 134, it said in a default of a candidate duly elected in accordance with subsection 2 of this section, there shall be a second election in accordance with subsection 4 of this section, at which the only candidate shall be A, the candidate who scored the highest number of votes at any election held in accordance with the said subsection 2 of this section, and B, one among the remaining candidates who has a majority of votes in the highest number of states, clearly stating that it is not the person who came second, as Okoye struggled effectively to convince people so that people understand what is there. That Atiku came second in INEC disputed election results doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to be part of it. In fact, if you study this thing very well, even Tinubu himself, it is doubtful if INEC cancels this election and call for a rerun, whether Tinubu self is qualified to participate. It is doubtful. Let us assume without considering that this election is annulled and Tinubu was not sacked totally. Because one of the prayers of Peter Obi is that Tinubu should be sacked, to be disqualified because of his forfeiture of $460,000 proceeds of narcotic to the United States government in the 1990s. And if you go and look at the section 137 that contains the conditionalities to disqualify a candidate from seeking the office of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the issues there is enough to disqualify President Bola Tinubu. Now, if the court goes in that direction, then any rerun, Tinubu is out of it. And I don't think that APC will be part of it. Because once Tinubu is disqualified from it, if they agree, if the court agrees that that forfeiture is evidence of crime committed, and that is evidence of fine paid, is evidence of dishonesty, and the issue of forfeiture had been dealt with by the Supreme Court in several cases, which Peter Obi and his lawyers, they have already cited all these provisions. So if that his election is annulled based on that particular section, on the forfeiture of $460,000 proceeds of narcotic to the United States government, if that is accepted by the court, the issue of Tinubu participating in a rerun is out of it. However, if they overlook all that and they annul his election because he didn't get 25% of the vote cast in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, and that becomes the ground, because that means that the fault is not his own fault. It is the fault of the Independent National Electoral Commission, who ought to have known that he is not qualified to have been declared the winner of the election. If they do a rerun, that he may participate, but that will also have an issue of its own. Because don't forget, the court is going to look at the whole problems that surround the election totally. For example, it is taken for granted that each of the top 3 candidates won 12 states. But in case of Peter Obi, it's 11 states plus FCT. Because FCT is not a state. FCT is separate from a state. That is why getting 25% there is compulsory. FCT is the center of unity of Nigeria, the unifying force, unifying city of Nigeria. The reason why they moved the federal capital from Lagos to Abuja was because Lagos had become so polarized that some people felt that they own Lagos. Lagos was also becoming congested. So Murtala Mohammed, in his wisdom, felt that there is a need to move the capital to the center of Nigeria. And that center of Nigeria will be chosen in a virgin land. Of course, you know there was not going to be any virgin land in Nigeria. There will always be somebody who claims it or who lives there. That was why Abuja was chosen Look at it geographically. It is situated at the center of Nigeria. It was deliberate by the creators of Abuja, and the authors of the Constitution also took cognizance of it. Okay, so that's on its own. So if you look at the election the way it is, based on INEC release results, and then based on the petitions and requests being made, one, Peter Obi had said and submitted petition to prove, he has submitted evidence to prove that he won Rivers State and that he won Benue State. Now, these are two states that have been allocated to President Bola Tinubu, and added his so-called 12 states that he won. Now, if you remove these two states and give to Peter Obi, as is likely to happen, because even independent calculators of the results, like the Premium Times, like the BBC, have been able to do calculations or tabulations to show that Peter Obi actually won Rivers State. So when you take Rivers State away from Tinubu, take Benue State away from Tinubu, the number of states won by Tinubu will drop down to 10 states. Now you can see that by giving Peter Obi 2 more states that he deserves, you can see that he has the majority of votes in majority of states. You can see that he has majority of votes in majority of states. So he is eminently qualified for any rerun. In fact, I did a video where I said that Peter Obi is the one that no matter how you do any rerun, if there will be any need for a rerun, Peter Obi must be there. Whether Atiku and Tinubu will be there is a different calculation. Because if you look at Tinubu, he won the election with 8.7 million votes. Now that 8.7 million votes include the reverse results that was allegedly illegally allocated to him, and the Benue result that was allegedly illegally allocated to him. So when they give him his proper results in these 2 states, his number of states won will drop down to 10. And the volume of his vote will also drop down again significantly. Don't forget that the witness, a key witness that Peter Obi and Labour Party brought, the mathematician, the professor of mathematics, had brought evidence to the court showing 18,088 blood result sheets that was used in declaring Tinubu winner. Those 18,088 votes are said to contain the votes of about 2.5 million Nigerians that was given to Tinubu as his own. But the results with which he was given that allocation is broad, so they are not reliable. They ought to be cancelled. Now, if they cancel it, if the justices in their wisdom cancel it, it means that the 8.7 million votes that Tinubu won used in winning the election, you have to subtract 2.5 million votes from it. If you do that, Tinubu's number will drop to 6.2 million votes. Now, as Tinubu's number has dropped, Peter Obi's numbers will go up, because his numbers that were allocated to Tinubu will now be added to him. That is also the process through which Peter Obi will move from number 3 position to number 1 position, to the level that you can see that in the petition submitted by Peter Obi and his lawyer, they use this argument that they now have the highest number of votes when these other states are allocated to Peter Obi in making a demand that they should be declared the winner of the election. And Peter Obi announced, declared the winner of the election. Okay? So you can see that there is no truth in the fact in the projection or pleading that Peter Obi should be excluded. Peter Obi cannot be excluded from any rerun if there will be any rerun. The only people that will suffer exclusion is Tinubu or Atiku Abubakar. Because Tinubu, by the time they remove 2 states from him and remove 2.5 million votes that was contained in the 18,088 blood result sheets with which INEC declared him the winner, Tinubu is likely to drop down to number 3 position. And one thing you must note, even in the argument of Peter Obi and his lawyers, when the professor of mathematics presented evidence of that 18,088 blood result, they were not challenged by the lawyers of Tinubu, the APC, which was an indication that they accepted what the man presented. So you can see that Tinubu is not even in a position to determine who will do a rerun or who will be part of a rerun or not. But one thing I can tell you is that Peter Obi will be part of any rerun unless the courts did not agree that Peter Obi won Rivers State and Benue State. And it will be surprising to the whole world how they will do the tabulation that will be different from what people have done independently to say that these 2 states does not belong to Peter Obi. And it will be one of the 7 wonders of the world of democracy, all emerging from Nigeria. It will be one of the 7 wonders of the world of democracy if the courts will not agree with those tabulations that have been presented before it, and we're also given the independent tabulations that have been done by a reputable organization like the BBC. So this video is all about to re-educate, because we keep on educating these people, keep on re-educating Nigerians. Because there are those, even educated people in newsrooms across the country, who still are living under the illusion that a rerun will be between the person who has the highest number of votes and the person who has the second highest votes. It is not true. The Constitution is clear on it. Festus Okoye read it out. Festus Okoye is not reading out that statement based on the Electoral Act or the guidelines for the conduct of the election. He's telling you what the Constitution said. He didn't say the person who comes second. It's the person, one of the persons that must be there is the person who has the highest number of states, highest number of majority of votes in highest number of states. And nobody comes close to Peter Obi when Rivers and Benue are added to him, to Labour Party and Peter Obi. So that is very clear. And the rerun itself is not what Peter Obi and co are looking for. They are looking for the court to declare them the winner of the election. You can go and study their final written address. In that particular place, they talk about it, that they deserve to be declared the winner of the election. Now, it is up to the court. And it is not for Tinubu to tell the court who are going to participate. The court itself should be conversant of that section 134, subsection 3, where the Constitution talk about a second election, or a rerun, as you may like to call it. But it is obvious that by that statement by Tinubu and his lawyers, one, they have acknowledged that there is a possibility of rerun, which means it's an admittance that there are some things they are not so confident about in their emergence as president, which gives them the mindset to think of possibility of a rerun. But the rerun, if the justices do justice to the presentation of Peter Obi and his lawyers, Tinubu, I'm afraid, may not be part of it. Because if the result allocated to him from that blood 18,088 result sheets are acknowledged, it was accepted by the courts as evidence. If it's if the justices approve of it and cancel the result that was allocated to Tinubu based on those blood result sheets, then I don't see how he can be part of it in any shape or form. So if they are having the mindset that they can push Peter Obi out of the picture, and then maybe they believe that Atiku Abubakar is an easier candidate to beat, they better bury that idea, because it's not going to work out that way for them. Peter Obi is going to be part of any rerun, if there will ever be a rerun. Peter Obi will be part of it. If there will be no rerun, Peter Obi is demanding, the key thing Peter Obi is demanding is the cancellation of the election and being declared the winner of the election. That is basically what Peter Obi wants. Number one is to be declared the winner of the election. Number two, to cancel the election of Aswaju as the winner of the election. And that is why they have presented the evidence before the tribunal, showing how 2.5 million votes was allegedly illegally allocated to Tinubu from blood result sheets. And they were able to present evidence to show that forfeiture is a crime, is as a result of criminality. It's a result of evidence of dishonesty. It's evidence of doing something wrong and paying a price for it. And the Supreme Court has also defined what forfeiture means. That being the case, I don't think that Tinubu and the APC are in a strong ground to determine who will be in any rerun, if there will ever be a rerun. It is left for the court, but from my understanding of it, Peter Obi stands in a solid ground when it comes to any issue of rerun. That's my position from my own understanding of it. And APC, Tinubu and Co, if they are thinking of shoving Peter Obi aside, it's not going to work if there will be any rerun at all. But in any case, what Peter Obi and Co really want is for Peter Obi to be declared the winner of the election. So when you see Peter Obi say that he wants to reclaim his mandate, it's all about that he should be declared the winner of the election. That is paramount to him, from my understanding. But if he gets to a rerun, he will still be part of it. There is no way. Peter Obi, he is the constance in any rerun variable in Nigeria. So I think that should be a settled matter by now. But I know that some people will still keep on bringing this issue of rerun will be between Atiku Abubakar and Tinubu. I see some people saying it, Reno Mokre, all those people, or there's some PDP supporters, but they are being misled. They should go and read that constitution again. They should go and read the constitution. They should watch this video by Festus Okoye. It settles the whole matter about Rerun. And if there will be anyone, Peter Obi must be there. That is clear from what the constitution has said and from the evidence that Peter Obi has presented in court that he won Benue and River State. And if the court agrees on that, there's no way you do Rerun without Peter Obi. Thank you for watching this video. And if you are new to my channel, you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel. Hit the subscription button, hit the notification bell. When you subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell, anytime I have a new video, you'll be among the first to know. And please don't forget to like this video, because when you like it, Google will rank it high and recommend it for more people. Thank you, and God bless you and yours.